Grigory Rasputin was a Russian peasant who claimed to have mystic healing powers. He went as far as saying as he was the second coming of Christ. Born on the 20th of January 1869 in a village in Siberia called Pokrovskoy. For years Siberia had been the dumping ground for Russia's criminals and exiles. His parents had 7 children before him, but Grigory was the only one to survive the harsh Siberian winter. At a young age he claimed angels spoke to him and he knew things about his neighbours he couldn't possibly know. It's said that he could touch a horse and heal it, and that this was enough evidence for the villagers to believe he was the second coming of Christ. In Rasputin's 20s, he was less than holy. Drinking, stealing, and generally being a menace made people think he worked for the devil. At 28, he got married and had 4 children, but he had a reputation for being an abusive alcoholic and a womanizer. One day he stole a horse. When word got out, he raced to a local monastery for sanctuary. Over several months he was convinced to find God and change his evil ways. After becoming a monk, he travelled the forests of Siberia, evangelizing villages. All this travelling makes historians believe that Rasputin joined a cult called the Kalaistes, who would work themselves up into a frenzy by strangling each other, then have massive orgies in the forest. One day, Rasputin said the Virgin Mary told him to go to St. Petersburg and help the royal family. This idea that the peasant faith healer could be needed by the royal family was insane, but Rasputin's former mentor at the monastery was the former religious advisor for the Romanovs, and with Marquez's connections, Rasputin was able to build a noble clientele who believed in his powers. Rasputin would care not what people thought of him. When he came to St. Petersburg, he smelt and was very dishevelled. He would pick his nose and eat it in front of dignitaries. But it wasn't long before Rasputin caught the eye of Tsarina Alexandra. The Tsar and Tsarina, son and heir to the Romanov dynasty, had haemophilia. One day, Alexei cut his knee and it wouldn't stop bleeding. Rasputin demanded to see the boy so he could heal him. When he touched Alexei, immediately he began to heal and the Tsarina made him her mystic. Obviously, this wasn't magic. How did Rasputin do it? Well, when he went into Alexei's room, he made all the doctors leave, stopping the same doctors who were giving the boy aspirin, which would have thinned Alexei's blood, causing further bleeding. By now, Rasputin was firmly in with the Romanov family. He would treat the Tsar and Tsarina for their various ailments with opium and cocaine, making them dependent on him. The staff in the palace became suspicious of Rasputin, as he would spend lots of time with the children, fearing for the oldest 2 princesses as they were about to hit puberty. One member of staff accused Rasputin of raping her, but the Tsarina fired her for lying. Rasputin took some time away from St. Petersburg and went to his hometown. It's here that the first attempt on his life happened. Kiana Guseva was a prostitute who had been sent to kill him. She stabbed him several times in the stomach and was so intent on killing him that she reached in and pulled his intestines out. When World War I broke out, the Tsar left to fight with the troops, leaving the Tsarina in charge. After Rasputin had healed, he went back to St. Petersburg as an advisor to Alexandra, becoming the Tsar by proxy. Rasputin, having no political education, began to change ministers, all of whom were incompetent. As the war rolled on, distrust of Rasputin grew. Millions had died and food had doubled in price, pushing the people to revolution. A man named Felix Yusupov, who was the Tsarina's nephew, wanted Rasputin dead. Yusupov had asked Rasputin to come to his mansion to heal his wife of a sex addiction. When Rasputin arrived, Yusupov and 2 men led Rasputin to the basement. There they fed him wine and cakes, all laced with cyanide. After 2 hours, Yusupov was amazed he hadn't dropped dead yet, so he got a revolver and shot Rasputin. But Rasputin still didn't die. He was shot then at point-blank range in the head, and also shot by the other men. He was then bundled into the boot of a car and thrown in the river. When his body was found, his hands were up as if he was trying to break the ice, and Rasputin had water in his lungs, meaning he'd taken a breath under the water. If you enjoyed the video, please would you like, comment and subscribe. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Thank you.